Welcome back. And when we last left off, we had just finished laying up the mold for the nose. And here you can see this is yesterday, Monday. It's been released and came out nicely. Didn't have any problems with that. So obviously it needs to be have the edges cleaned off and the silicon rubber profile removed from that. So not really anything out of the usual in terms of the amount of cleanup work. There's Jeff just starting on taking out the rubber profile, and next we have Mark cutting the edges off there and sanding them off so the mold's nice and clean and nobody's going to get hurt touching it. So that one now, all it needs is the braces, and I had cut those out of foam last week, so those just need to have some carbon put over those to have them bonded into place. And then that mold will be ready actually to lay up, and we'll be cutting some core for that probably next week and laying that up. So a little while ago, I showed you these door brace ones and said that we're probably going to make some changes to that. So what we've decided to do is actually make where the lock or where the latches are going to be, make those stick out rather than be indented. So we had to add on a bunch of putty here and mill that. So you can see back on the machine and just milling out those. So they're raised now, and we'll be cutting out openings on the inside to slide the latches into place once we have those made up. So anyway, that needs a little bit of work. And then the other thing that we're going to do for those to make the molds for that is actually make it in 5 pieces. We were going to actually create these inserts, which would have been a little bit more involved, but we've decided, and it's possible to actually make those molds in 5 pieces and bolt them all together. So the next thing to do was actually to cut out these little dividers using the machine, and they need to be placed at 5 different places around that mold on a very specific angle in order to make it so when we're laying up the mold and when you're releasing it, that all the pieces of the mold can come off the part. Otherwise it would get locked in because of the negative draft angles on there. So anyway, this is a machine, and we just got this 1/4-inch board that we ordered, and it's kind of just like a little bit of a plastic board. It's easy to cut, and it has a nice smooth finish on it, and just really going to work well for doing these dividers. So I had to do 10 of these different dividers so 5 for each of the door frame molds. And while I was at it, decided to cut 2 as well for the main spar, because that main spar has a bit of negative draft on the outside ends of the spar caps, and so because of that we need to actually do that as a 3-part mold as well. So I spent the morning cutting all these out, and fortunately for us these are just one-time deals for creating the molds. It's not like this will be something that we need when we're creating customer aircraft. So anyway, those are all done, and so here those 2 there are the ones for the spar, and then here's a bunch of the other ones for the door frames. And there you can see sitting there, I labeled them all, and there's a couple of them showing how they kind of sit in place there, and we'll be laying up the mold in separate places, separate parts. But you'll see that in the next couple of weeks when we create those molds for the door frame. So today's task was to lay up, or at least start laying up, the roof mold. So this was this morning, the guys getting on laying out the black top coat there, a little bit with a squeegee and then with the brush, and around the silicon rubber profile. And you actually have to work this material fairly quickly because it actually gets hot and sets up. And one time we didn't work it quick enough and it became a gooey mess. We had to start again. But anyway, so we've got it down now, and went through and did 2 layers of that. This is just showing the first layer going down. And then after lunch, we came back and started on putting the first layer of fiberglass down. And so this is what you see now. Basically, we're putting on the resin with the Cabasil just to put 45-degree angles on where those silicon rubber profiles are, just to make it so the fiberglass lays down smoothly across that. Otherwise it would be sort of up across and down 90-degree angles. It just doesn't work very well with that fiberglass. So here you can see laying out the fiberglass start with the flanges around the edge there, or just with smaller pieces because of the curvature, and it just makes it easier to work in smaller pieces. You don't have to worry about things sort of wanting to stick up or whatever. So that wasn't too difficult to lay that down. And once we had all the flanges done and the sort of transition on the bottom edge there, we were able to put the main sort of field areas down. Oh, and we also on the parachute straps there, we had we did that in pieces as well because of the channels for the two parachute straps on the roof. So here you can see we got the first layer of glass down there, and then we switch over to the first layer of carbon fiber, and this goes down pretty easy on this sort of mold, so nothing really complicated. But because of the size of this one, that's all we got through today before it was time to actually do the peel ply. So tomorrow we'll be taking the peel ply off again and then putting the rest of the carbon on that one and have that one finished by the end of the day tomorrow. And there it is with the peel ply complete. So Saturday's update may be a bit delayed because I'm traveling. But anyway, that's our update for the first half of this week. Thanks again for watching.